Everyone. My name's Kelly Micheletti, and I'm an attorney with Yost and Baill. Currently, I have the privilege of also serving on the NASP board. I've been a board member now for 4 or 5 years, I think, but it's been a real privilege to be able to kind of see behind the scenes on how the magic is made. And I'm here today with
Baill. So I am the founder of NASP and the past president of NASP and someone who's been deeply involved in the organization for the last 25 years. I want to congratulate all of you for making the decision to come to the conference. And here's what you're going to hear when you get there. Welcome home. And what we mean by that is you're going to be attending the largest gathering of subrogation professionals in the world. And it's going to be the home of subrogation for 3 days. And for those of you who are involved in the field, and I assume you all are, or else you wouldn't be there, you know there aren't that many people who actually know what subrogation is. So to actually be with a group of almost 1,000 people who are deeply involved in the field is really energizing and fun. So who's going to be there? Well, just some of the people are going to be there. There will be lawyers there. They may be people you work with or people you deal with on occasion. There will be insurance subrogation professionals there, people you have much in common with. There will be experts there. And as you all know, in almost every part of subrogation, we're deeply dependent on experts. And you can't meet enough experts who may be able to help you at some point in the future. And then there's going to be other service vendors there, including people like location services, translators, consultants, and others. I've found over the years that the single most important thing to being successful in subrogation is relationships. Doesn't matter whether you're an insurance professional, an attorney, expert, other service provider. Relationships are really the key to being successful at what you do. You just can't know too many people in the business. They're all potential sources of knowledge, help, and new business. And there's no better place than to start building relationships than at the NASP conferences. Kelly?
Totally agree. The purpose of today's webinar is basically just to give a highlighted view of lessons and tips that Jeff and I have taken away from being involved in the organization and going to conferences in Jeff's case, for many, many years. Jeff has seen the transition of these conferences over the years, and he's a very good wealth of knowledge for all of us. But one thing to remember in this is that this is a long game. You're there to build relationships, and relationships take time and effort. Your goal is to walk away with some new relationships, but not necessarily to walk away with business in hand. I think sometimes there's a disconnect with new conference attendees that they think I'm going to go, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to have this new project to work on or this new client. And the reality is that, it just takes time. So expect to go in and not necessarily walk away with new business or a new client, but definitely plan on walking away with some new relationships. So tips on how to get the most out of the conference. We just are going to kind of take turns with some things that Jeff and I spitballed that we think are important to get the most out of the first NASP conference.
This first one may seem obvious, but it's important. Attend the sessions. Actually go to the educational programming. So this is the best place to find subro content and actually to meet experts in the field. And make yourself known in these sessions. Speak up, ask questions. Networking is difficult during the sessions. I understand that. There's probably better opportunities to network during breaks, but still make yourself known during these sessions. Ask questions. Soak up the industry knowledge being taught, and don't be afraid to talk to folks after the session and on the breaks. That's really where relationships are started. Be prepared to participate where and when you can. A lot of these sessions are geared towards audience participation, and really every voice is welcome. Even if you're new to subrogation, there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm relatively new to this. I don't understand this. Can you help me with this issue? People will appreciate that. Fine people are very helpful. Kelly?
After that, attend the receptions and meals. Again, it seems obvious, but this is the single best place to network. NASP does a really good job of facilitating this and putting things together in a thoughtful way so that networking becomes a natural thing to happen at these events. Reach out and meet people that you don't know. One thing I remember Jeff telling me early in my career is go sit at a table with people you don't know. It's very easy to sit down at a table with people from your firm or from your company, but most people there don't have a lot of connections there. And you sit down at a table, you introduce yourself, and the conversation kind of starts from there. It's a natural place to do it. So try to meet, 10 new people a day. These moments and these breaks and these meals are a great way to meet people and get yourself used to the idea of having some of these conversations with strangers, some of the small talk things. It's a natural place for it to happen. So make sure you attend those events for sure.
So in my history at NASP, I've gone to sessions and come back to my office and told my partners, I saw this expert speak here who was phenomenal. And he's an expert on this topic that I have on my case. And I've actually switched out experts and brought these people in to help me. So there's just a lot of people you can meet who can be very helpful to whatever you're doing. The other thing is, I think it's important to search out and introduce yourself to the leaders in the industry. Look, the best and the brightest in this whole field are going to be at this conference. And you'll find that almost all of them are very approachable. Don't hesitate to go up to them, introduce yourself to them, tell them what you do. You never know when they may be able to help you. You may have a case related to something you've never dealt with before. You may know one of these leaders has been involved in the issue, and then you can call them and ask, where do I go for help? What kind of information can you give me? What kind of experts would be helpful? So don't hesitate to do that. Also, introduce yourself to the NASP staff. They're also a phenomenal resource and can be very helpful with future issues you run into. Kelly?
Along those lines, volunteer. NASP is always looking for great speakers and great topics and new topics and different things to present on. So let staff know if you're interested in speaking or volunteer in any way you can. I know that this next thing seems silly, but read the NASP emails. They're a wealth of information. There's a ton of opportunities contained in there, whether it's writing for the subrogator, doing a webinar, preparing for an upcoming conference. But volunteering with NASP really is a great way to ingratiate yourself with the organization, get to know people, get to know staff. I've met so many people just through simply volunteering for different things. And it's a gradual process, but it's ultimately led me to being able to serve on the board. So I think if you have an opportunity and you think this is something that I would be good at, volunteer. Go talk to NASP staff and just say, hey, I'd love to be available for this project or doing this or taking this on. It's always something that we're looking for. And it's a great way to get yourself immersed in NASP and just help the folks that really create this world that we all get to be a part of.
Remember, too, at some point, everyone was a first-time attendee. So be comfortable with the fact that it really takes time to feel like you fit in. It may take several conferences, but you will if you stick with it. And I have to tell you, when I look back at my 40-plus year history in the law practice, the one thing that has been the most helpful in building our practice has been the NASP conferences. And it can be that important for you too. So it may take time. You may be a little uncomfortable at first, but as I said, everybody has to start somewhere. And I think you'll find it very rewarding. Also, there's nothing wrong with telling people this is your first time there. A seasoned attorney once told me when I was just starting to practice that tell the judge this is your first trial or second trial. And that was really good advice because they helped me along. And I think people will help you along at the conference as well if you let them know this is your first time there. Your participation in the conference can pay off in many, many ways in the future. So don't hesitate to get involved, to speak with people. You can let them know it's your first conference. And I think you'll find it very rewarding. Kelly?
Yeah, just some last minute reminders to help you navigate your first NASP conference. my advice would be review the conference details ahead of time, know where you're going and kind of where that's located. There's going to be concurrent sessions kind of throughout annual conference. And you take time away from your networking and meeting people opportunities if you're focused the entire time on trying to figure out where you're going next. So just take a minute before the conference starts to kind of figure out the space, figure out where you're going, pick your sessions. NASP has so much to offer, and it's going to be coming at you, instantly with vendor booths and meeting people and all those things. And just don't waste that valuable time trying to figure out where your next place is to be. One other tip that I have for sure is be sure and attend our first time attendee reception. It's the perfect place to meet other first time attendees that don't know anyone, that feel the same way you do. And that is held right away on Sunday night of the conference. It's right before our big party, and it's a good way to get to know people and just kind of feel more at ease as you start getting into the conference. Jeff?
The other thing I'd recommend is after the conference, use social media. If you meet someone, find them on LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever other platform you use. It's a great way to remember and solidify a connection. Bring lots of business cards. This is one place where you will be giving out business cards, and you'll be disappointed if you forget to bring them. So bring business cards. Plan a 5-minute elevator speech where you tell people what you do, sort of what your history is and what you do. And also, this may seem obvious too, but wear comfortable shoes. You're going to be on your feet all day, maybe from 7 in the morning till midnight. So wear comfortable shoes. The dress code is business casual. So we want people to be comfortable there. And once again, take advantage of all we offer. Kelly?
Yeah, lastly, the one piece of advice that I received when I was first going to NASP conference was to take a few minutes after the conference to write down your thoughts, your impressions, connections you made, who they are, what they do. If you found a session particularly interesting and want to remember the people that talked on that. My own personal experience has been, I had a client call me and say, hey, what do you know about this topic? And I thought, you know what? I sat in a session on this topic 2 years ago, and I was able to go back and find the person that did the presentation, give them a call, and they were a wealth of information for me to be able to go back to a client with this information. So it's really important that you just kind of collect your thoughts at the end and have a minute to kind of figure out, okay, this is the connection I made. This is what I want to remember and connect with later. There's so much going on, and it's easy to forget all of the things that happen. It's a crazy busy conference. There's so many people to see. It's everyone in our industry. And if you don't take that opportunity at the end, it's easy to forget all these people. And it's just a helpful exercise to make sure that the knowledge and content and connection doesn't end with the conference. So that's one thing that I've taken away that's really been helpful for me.
So let me end with this, and it's sort of repeating what I've said throughout this presentation. One great connection can make all the difference in your career. It can lead you to new job opportunities, partnerships, or just help you with your next claim. I can't tell you how many times in my career I've gotten a call from someone I may have met 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago at a NASP conference who wants some help with something. So take advantage of this. And then finally, congratulations. Congratulations on making the decision to come to the conference. That's the first important decision you need to make. And I think you're going to find this well worth it. You can find Kelly and I at the conference roaming around. Don't hesitate to come up and introduce yourself. And if you have any questions, we're happy to help you. And once again, you're going to find this to be a tremendous learning opportunity. And maybe most importantly, I think you're going to have a lot of fun here as well. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the conference.
Thanks, everybody. See you there.